Hello, 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 hello. Happy Monday. I am so excited to be with y'all again on yet another beautiful Monday. I am coming from, my name is Monica Henderson, and I'm coming from the sunny, cold Los Angeles, California. And we are here every week to help you get your life better. So let's get into it, shall we? Gonna hit the little play button. Let's do this. So welcome to MinkLife Motivation. My name is Monica Henderson, like I said, and we are a personal business brand and network development company. And our mission is to come together every single week to help you get motivated, stay inspired, keep networking, and gain knowledge so that you can live a life that is designed by you, for you, healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilled. Each week on this show, we are so excited to bring all kinds of great content, but this week we are specifically talking about why is strengthening your business processes so important. And this is really time for you to maximize your business. So let's get motivated, shall we? Every month we have a theme of the month, and it comes from our power of 6. And specifically our 6 basic rights. And the right number 3 is you have the right to live in your truth. To help me discuss this and your business and all of those things, we have our motivators for this week, Andrea Gewirtz, who is a health and wealth thrive strategist, founder of WellBeing and Worth, and a master MinkLife Motivation trainer. Andrea, you there? Say hello.
I'm here. Hello, hello.
And we also have Val Low, who is the CEO of Val Low Group and a dynamic speaker from the next global virtual conference and my own personal business coach. Val, say hello to everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
And last but not least, we have Leighann Mackenzie, and she is the CEO of LeighKhris Virtual PAs and also the administrative coordinator for MinkLife Virtual Headquarters, aka South African headquarters of MinkLife Motivation. So everyone, give a holla and a shout to Leighann. Leighann, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
So this week, I have the question for the panel, and Val, please come on stage and help us answer this question as well. How does focusing on your business processes, how your business processes work, allow you to maximize the profits in your business? So Val, you want to go first?
Sure. You know, Monica, the first place I go with anyone is, what's your direction? Like, where are you going? And then you can see what you need to put into place in your business. So if you don't have processes in place, if you're not following some systems, then it's going to affect your bottom line. I mean, if you don't have a good sales system, you're not going to be bringing in the clients and the revenue that's going to support you in your business. So it so affects your bottom line, right from your first idea to your vision, your strategy, and then through your processes, filters down into how much money you make every month.
That's right. She's always like, where's the money? In that pipeline, where's the money, right? So Leighann, what about you? Why is it so important to focus on how your processes are working to help you strengthen your bottom line?
Well, having all your processes are core to your business succeeding. So, and there's 4 basic core processes that you need to focus on that are revenue generating for your business. So the best thing to do is to start looking at those ones and focusing on those ones to strengthen and build the system that you're trying to create that will streamline those processes for you.
Absolutely. So Andrea and I are always working in processes on our own selves. So we're kind of low-key excited just to be a part of this conversation with these two, right? But
Andrea,
Andrea,
I just want to ask them questions. I don't really want to talk. I was like, I wonder how much I can ask Val questions today for this live. Like, could I co-moderate? Because I'm like, I hear things about you, Val. Thank you for joining us today. And I know Leighann, so Leighann, I know she's organized. And I'm going to go to, as someone who works with do-it-yourself entrepreneurs, Monica and I seem to attract them. And also people who are just revamping anything about their health and their wealth. The bottom line is, if you don't, as Val so aptly said, I was like, where is your sales system? I take notes. You see me looking away, I'm taking notes today. And that is really crucial to any strategy that you want to employ to make a change. So on that macro level that I look at from the health perspective, it's a system too. Like, what is your system for actualizing your best self? And there are things that you have to have in place. Leighann dropped there are 4 basic things for business. I was like, is she going to tell us? No, she didn't yet. But I'm going to hold her to doing that, because similarly, I think there are at least 3 to 5 that are central to health. So, I feel a little naked here with you business people, since I'm the health and wealth woo-woo girl amongst the 3 of you. But even then, when I'm structuring programs for myself, for my kids, for everybody, we have to check off certain things to make sure that we're going to really get to that end result that we seek. So that's where I'm going to say we have that universal law of employing systems. So that is why it's important. And I don't know, we're Americans. We like to wing it all the time. And I'm like, you know what? Winging it doesn't work. I'm over that, winging it or trying to pretend I'm winging it. No, I got a system for that. So.
Yeah, I think just with MinkLife Motivation, right? It's a system, right? It's a process that we put people through. And the beautiful part about creating that system over the past 1.5 years, right, was that I then applied those same systems to itself. And systemizing everything really does kind of change things. What I systemized was something that I was winging for years and got shoddy results, right? Not shoddy, but like good time. I didn't understand the magic, right? I didn't know why it was working. I just knew it worked, right? And then when I went into systemizing, because it was time to scale MinkLife Motivation, and I had to put it down into an actual process and actually put people through exactly the same thing, it ended up being a machine, right? And I got the same words every single time at the end of the experience. Wow, that was little tiny bites. Or wow, I really like, that was easy. I didn't think it was going to be that easy, right? I brought them through that from different perspectives, from different businesses, from different ways. And I was able to do it and get exactly the same results every time. Or it's me, I'm in my way, but I'm ready to do something different, right? All of those things, I only saw those results in my own business when I started systemizing my own business. I would say 100% the building of those processes.
Whoa. Whoops. You lost you, Monica.
I'm back. It's okay. Little miniature earthquake in my own house. I hit the table. But what I would say is that we teach their 6, right? There's 6 processes because we like the number 6 around MinkLife Motivation. And so I'm curious to compare notes about where the overlappings in all of our systemized things are going to show up. So today, I am extremely excited and proud to share the world with me, what I get to experience on a regular basis with Val. So she gets a special introduction in that she's my own business coach, and I've been working with her for not very long, for about 4 weeks or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, around there, right? But there was a reason why I chose her, and mind you, I can choose any business coach. I work with a lot of business coaches, right? And why did I choose Val? 2 reasons. One, because she was systems oriented, and I knew that was my own personal blind spot. That was the area that I know systems, but doing systems on myself is a little harder, right? But 2, she is an incredibly big heart and just has an amazing disposition. And I knew she would be able to allow me to be all the crazy that is in my own space, and help kind of me really kind of move it to the next level. So in one of my favorite segments for the show, The Entrepreneurial Journey, I am excited to share with you how I stay inspired and how you're going to stay inspired by hearing Val Low's entrepreneurial journey.
You're muted, Monica.
She's Louise. She is the CEO of Val Low Group, a business strategist, a motivational speaker, and a volunteer air search and rescue worker. I know, right? So with that, Val, please take the stage and let us know, what is your story and how did you get into this entrepreneurial journey of your own? Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Monica. That's such a generous introduction. You know, I really started when I had small children. I have 2 boys, and they were small, and we're living in a small place. And I trying to figure out, how do I keep organized with all this stuff and kids? And I found out that I was really good at organizing. It just kind of surprised me that I was really good at organizing. I found out that there was an organization in my country, in Canada, Professional Organizers in Canada, which is I'm one of the first members. The people were actually organizing as a business, and that surprised me. And then it started me on the whole journey of a business itself. And I just love business. It's something that just connects with me. So I was raising teenage boys, and then I ended up raising teenagers on my own. And I needed the flexibility to be there for them, to drive them with their bikes and their 4-wheelers and all the pieces that boys like to have into those things that they enjoyed. And so I got into the entrepreneurial lifestyle. And I'll tell you, I think, as entrepreneurs, we just live a little differently than everybody else. So from there, I started organizing business owners, and I quickly realized that entrepreneurs don't stay organized. And that was a problem. And I thought, well, how can I help them? So I started researching mindset and productivity, and I ended up with a certified professional coach certification and researching like way more than I had ever thought when I first started out in this organizing journey. And I got to see that there are ways that you can stay on track to be more efficient, to reach your, what I call your GBGs, your great big goals. And I see quite often so many entrepreneurs out there just busy doing what they're doing, but they got so much stuff going on. Like, what do they do? How do they do it all? How do they put it all together? And so that's where I have really delved into a program I call DOS, which is Design, Organize, and Structure Your Business, and also Magnify Your Brand. How do you get organized, get your message clear, and then how do you take that into the marketplace and serve those around you to attract those clients, those idea clients in your business? So obviously I'm passionate about this because it helps entrepreneurs. I allow them less stress. I show them how to have more focus in their business and their life. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see the levels that entrepreneurs can go at. I mean, I've had one entrepreneur tell me, and I was just so humbled to hear this, that she said, "You saved my life. Like, you came in and you just gave me that space like Monica's talking about and showed me how to get there." And it's just so rewarding to hear entrepreneurs say and see it on their face that, they've got more freedom in their life and their business. And that's why I do this.
Yeah, I did. So I didn't know that was your journey. I felt like it was like a soul connection when I first met you. Mm-hmm. And so that you, like most of us, our children ended up being the drivers into this into this entrepreneurial space.
Yeah, so true.
And I love that. I think most people who take this entrepreneurial journey are driven, like in my book that will be released one day. In my book, I talk about you're either pushed by pain or you're pulled by a vision, and I think you had that same push that the rest of us had, where it was like the pain pushed first, and then. But the beautiful part is catching that knowledge, right, and how you kind of dug deeper into, like, hey, I wonder, you follow that curiosity of like, why aren't entrepreneurs more focused and organized was great. Andrea, Leighann, did you guys have any questions or thoughts about Val's story?
I love the simplicity of what you just said, Val. I now understand from hearing you, because I hear everything. I don't see anything, I just hear everything. You'll hear that from Monica. She heard me say, I'll never say, I see what you're saying, I never say that. But in hearing your story and the whole thing about the motivation with the kids and having to create that flexibility, I think it's a marvel that we as women are leaning into that these days and really embracing that. And so your story moved me in that way, that like, I know Monica's story, I know mine, I don't know Leighann's, but I will say that it was a child that prompted me to reimagine, my journey too. I was like, her too? Oh my God. So maybe that's a comparison point for many of us on this entrepreneurial journey, or some kind of, helping the family along or something like that. Not just a kid, it could be a spouse too, or fur babies even, who knows. But it's interesting that is where so many women start. I'm just becoming more and more keen to hearing that's somehow ekes in. And what I love is when women lead with that. I think it helps us connect to each other a little bit more. I feel my bias pulling me towards women who share that part. And it's reminded me to share that part of my own journey every time I hear some other smart lady doing it. So thank you. So for sure, because I used to be in a very male dominated profession. So I never shared my womanness, my femaleness. And it's been part of my entrepreneurial journey to lean into that. So I guess that's why I'm commenting on you sharing that too. So thank you.
And Monica, I'm just thinking that raising teenage boys on your own is not for the faint of heart. It's not.
How many did you have too?
Whole lot of, and it's I learned a whole lot from them through the whole process. And I mean, they're doing really well now, but it was quite a challenge at the time. Okay. But also you said simplicity. That's at the key of what I look at is, how do we keep this simple? Like, how do we move forward simply? It's a lot of complication out there, but let's do it simply.
Nice.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me that well, I like succinct people. So that was another reason why Val was very intriguing to me. She like just gets to the point without too much of the touchy feels, just enough for me to like connect, but not enough for me to be like, okay, get to the point now. So that is another reason why I enjoy working with Val. Leighann, did you want to chime in on Val's story?
No, I just absolutely love Val's story. Like her, I also was drawn into being an entrepreneur for the sake of my son and wanting to be able to spend some time with him. So yes, I spend a lot of time helping entrepreneurs and business owners like create processes and strategize their businesses. But I find myself wanting to connect with Val to get her to help me in my own business, because I feel like she could probably streamline my business for me just from listening to her.
In 3 sentences, I was like, dang it, one more thing I want. All I want for Christmas is.
No.
Yeah, it didn't take much. And it was funny because, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. I think over the last 2 months, I've talked to over 90 entrepreneurs, right? And heard different stories, different variations. And she's right, when you can streamline everything, right? Your business processes and how you communicate about it, it does help people just get there faster, right? And there have been so many people who made me sit through an hour conversation and I still didn't understand what the heck they did. I don't think they knew what they did, to be honest. So, you know, the fact that she can so easily just kind of tell us, like, this is what I do, this is why I do it, and this is why I love doing it, and just how I help people. I think it's something that all of us entrepreneurs, and I'm talking to you out there in Facebook world who talks to me on a regular basis, that is probably a masterclass really quick on how to get someone to connect to your story and want to work with you just that quick. So excited. So we're gonna keep the conversation moving along here. And I love the entrepreneurial journey because, you know, most people think that we're alone in the plight, or that it's just our problem, and no one else has those problems. But those always show that, you know, the other side of business. But so I want us to kind of keep networking and keep connecting. And we have the business experts here who obviously agree with this quote: the better the process, the better the outcome. It's one of our program quotes. And one of the things that we focus on in MinkLife Motivation, in the actual program when we talk about business processes, is systems, efficiency, and execution. And since we have two experts in these areas, I wanted to kind of have them chime in and kind of help us understand, like, what are so important? Why is systemizing so important? Why is efficiency so important? Why, you know, is execution, why are these things so important? And kind of what do you do to help people understand those things and then kind of move them along the way? And I think Andrea and I are just going to sit back and do one of these numbers. We're going to let the two of y'all talk. So let's start with Leighann this time. So we'll give Val a little time, but why are those things so important?
Well, one of the biggest things is that if the processes aren't working properly or aren't being followed correctly, you're going to have a lot of customers that are complaining. They're going to be receiving poor quality service, poor quality products. Your staff are potentially going to be frustrated because the process isn't working properly. They're always hitting roadblocks along the way. You could be having bottlenecks where things are your deadlines are getting missed. So continuously streamlining and looking at your processes and making sure that they are efficient is going to help with increased productivity and also help in your bottom line.
So like, you know, again, these efficiency people, they really know how to nail it, right? And done. Hello, right?
And done.
Val, would you like to add on to it, Leighann?
Sure. You know, in the presentation that I gave in the conference, I talked about my podcasting system, and I went into quite detail about all the steps that go there. Obviously, the first thing is reaching out to someone, and then what happens after you reach out to them, and all those pieces that go with it. But one of my first podcast guests, I got off the phone. I said, "Oh, great! I got this guest. Oh no! Now what do I do?" And I went, "Oh, right. You have a system. You send out this email to them. You get them to schedule the time you're going to meet, and there's a form there they fill out, and everything just flows along. And now I have a weekly podcast that comes out, and the system just goes." And so when you have a system like that, as Leighann was mentioning, you don't have those bottlenecks, you don't have angry customers, you've got a process that takes you step by step through to get into the end result. And I know I've mentioned this many times, but I saw, as entrepreneurs, we just we get the heebie-jeebies when we talk about structure or systems or processes, but it's that foundation that gives us the freedom to do what we want to do, what we do best and can do in the world.
It's not the sexy part. I'm gonna be honest. When you think about, like, oh, I'm going into business, I'm gonna sell some stuff, I'm gonna be my own boss, you don't think, and I got to put together a whole set of processes and steps to go along with it so that I can make sure that this happens. That's not the sexy part. I think that's where people kind of are a little less excited. I know in setting up Leighann and I are setting up the CRM right now, right? And there's this whole process that goes into you setting up the CRM. But once we're done, though, right, then we'll never have to do it again, or we'll just have to make little tweaks. And so you guys are right that it's not the sexy part. It's not the part that people are excited to do. But it's so crucial. It is super crucial. What about, okay, so you guys are like super succinct, which is, again, my kind of people. 100% my kind of people. And I am the queen of systems, right? And I still need the two of you to keep me straight in the systems. So what about those people who are like, I'm good at systems, I got this. Why do they actually need the help of someone to help them with their systems?
I tend to find that if having someone that's completely outside of your business or doesn't actually follow or isn't part of the process, having a look at your system is going to pick up any loopholes or any breakpoints in that or any blind spots in your system. So it's always good to have someone outside of your business to have a look at your processes and see if they can pick up any faults or pick up any points that could be improved on.
Yeah, I know someone who loves systems. He loves creating them, and he's got all kinds of documents for all his systems. I go, oh, this is lovely, but oh my goodness, my head starts to spin about how do I find what I need and where are we going? And it can get a little bit too much. So I keep coming back to simple, like what are the key things that you need to do? Get those really dialed in. And if you love systems and you can put it into a simple way for people to find, great, awesome. It's awesome. You're way ahead. Way ahead.
Andrea, did you have any questions for them?
Questions? No. I mean, I think that both of these brilliant women have really elucidated why they're so important, you know? And as someone who, through COVID, created, is like, oh, criminy. Now it's time to, you know, give it structure so I can continue to create as opposed to service. And so whenever I meet entrepreneurs, like you mentioned, Monica, who are like, oh, why do we have to deal with that? And I'm like, because how will you grow? Like, how will you get out there? How will you reframe a message if you have the materials to deliver, but maybe you want to tweak it for a holiday or something like that? And so having those systems, and you're like, oh, I'm going to run this campaign, or I'm going to execute this program, or whatever people want to call it at that juncture. But right now we're saying campaign. I use campaigns. It really has taught me that, thank goodness there's a system, because I do have the time to, it's a both and, it's not an either or anymore. So that was really my development still as an entrepreneur needs this work to be utterly brilliant, to keep creating or finish books or all the other things I've overcommitted myself to, so that you know, I can keep on doing. So great, guys.
Yeah, I will definitely chime in on that about the time thing, right? Like it does 100% buy you more time. And it was funny because, so I got Leighann about 3 weeks before the last conference. And the people who had done the conference with me the 2 times before and were like in the back working, like feverishly working in the vaccines, like Andrea, you know, the week before the conference, I pop on our morning meeting. I'm like, hi guys. And they're like, why are you so perky? Why do you look so rested? What the heck just happened, right? And I was like, cause stuff's done, like done, like moving along. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. Like having been the person who, as a solopreneur, right, as like a person who was trying to scale my brain into like multiple places, it's at some point you get to a point where you can't think anymore. Like you just can't think. You're like, I can't think about this not one more time. And I was telling Val a couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't want to be in product development anymore. I'm done product developing. I just want to live. Right? And I was crying on her shoulder about it. And she's like, you're okay. We just got to make sure your processes are set up, and then you can live. We just got to do this one part, right? And so, and the same thing with Leighann. She's like, hey, this will run smooth if we just kind of put all the things in place, then you don't have to worry about this ever again. And so, you know, hate to beat the process is the most important part of your business horse over the head, or kick that dead horse that much more. But in my own development, I've done a lot, right? I've literally done a lot of things in the last year, right? From having no program and just being a one-off coach to having an entire system and to affiliate, an affiliate program, a licensing program, a streaming series, and a conference series, right? Done a lot. And I still was like, I can't keep doing this way, right? I still needed the help of people to look at my own processes and my own systems and help me find those holes. It's like the funnel has a little crack on the side. And so although things are coming in, there's stuff that's kind of fallen out the side of it, and you want to keep it all in, right? And so they have been instrumental in helping me keep it all in, and helping me identify, like, I had holes that I didn't realize were holes at one point in this journey, right? I was like, I don't understand why it's not working. Whole big gaping hole on one side that I couldn't see, right? And so having people like this to kind of point out, like, hey, I think there's a little loophole here that we may want to close up so that you don't have any issues down the line. In your own journeys, Val and Leighann, have you had, well, Leighann was clearly saying, she's like, I think I need some help now, because she grew a little bit in the last month in her business, just a little. So are there any like areas of processes that like kind of had you thinking like, oh crap, I need to do something different, that you want to share with others?
Well, for me, I'm got a couple of different programs going, and it's quite obvious you need to spend some time in setting them up. And back to your point, Monica, or Andrea, when you talked about it's hard to scale or grow if you don't have processes in place, those systems. And so for me, I am able to bring on another VA for me to put those systems in place. I mean, I'm so happy that I have a VA that's now working on my processes, my manual, which I had sort of working, but it needed to be refined. So that's one of those things that, you bring in people to help you to do this and grow, and they can really spend time in your expertise, and your business can go along with you. That's I think that's so important.
Yeah. Leighann, did you have something to share?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, that I would really like to get connected with Val to have a chat. I think as business owners and entrepreneurs do start scaling and wanting to expand their business, they then start to realize, especially when they start employing people, is they start to realize, well, I know how my business functions, and I know what my processes are, but nobody else does. So like myself, I'm also in that process of now I'm employing people, and I'm now in the position saying, well, I know what all my clients need, and I know what systems they've got in place, and what I need to do for them. But now, unless I'm going to sit and actually physically take somebody through it, I need to start putting that down on paper or on some sort of system for them. So I need to start creating some processes for myself now. Thanks, Monica.
She has that annoying habit.
I do have that annoying habit. I am sorry and not sorry all at the same time. I know growing pains suck. But it really is when things kind of get in alignment, and you like are clear about, like how Val was saying, you got to get clear about what it is you're trying to do. The growth happens so much faster. And so again, having a process. And here was my saving grace. Okay, so I did my action plans. I used my own system on itself to do the action plans to get it to grow where I needed it to grow, right? And then what happened is it grew, and I immediately needed help, right? I immediately knew, oh crap, it's doing what I said I wanted it to do. I needed help. And having those action plans and allowed me to be very clear about what kind of help I needed, right? So when it came down to business coaches, it was very clear to me that my processes were the area in which I needed a bird's eye view. And I needed to bring someone in to help me in that space. I knew very clearly that I could not at all continue to do admin stuff and be the person who's networking and be the person who's on the talk show and be the person who's doing this, that, and the other, right? And so kind of having a triple threat, right? Or you have a great personal assistant to help you kind of do the things, and then to have someone to be able to have a bird's eye view of what all of your processes are, and if they're helpful, and then to have an actual plan in place to use all three of those in tandem, it like exponentially even goes faster. So Leighann and I earlier were talking about like, oh, we got to set new goals. Our last goals have expired way sooner than we were intending for them to be. So now we got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what are we going to do next? Because all of those things are doable and completely usable at this point. I know Andrea is going back to drawing board as well because of the same thing, right? And so surrounding yourself with my posse, my friends. I get to claim them because they're my friends, right? But people like this, right? And being a part of a community that can have that kind of support with you, you just grow so much faster. So 6 months ago, none of us, I don't think, were in this position we were in. I don't think anybody in the world was in the position that we're in now, right? But I think the saving grace was that we at MinkLife Motivation are connected in this way, where we have people who are different experts in different areas who don't do the same thing that we do, and who can provide that kind of support and excellence. And I knew exactly, I was like, oh, I just got to go through my friends and find someone to help me. There it goes. I found it. So it's great. Andrea, did you have anything else you wanted to add to the?
No, I mean, I think you touched on everything, especially when you get to the point of learn, do, teach, review, and you're like, oh, oh, no, touch. Like you're like, oh, I'd like to recreate this in a different way. Or you alluded to the same thing that I'm doing, and I kind of woke up. I'm like, okay, I've been doing this many times to the entrepreneur. How can I do it different? And I was looking at myself in the mirror going, did you really say that out loud, Andrea? Did you really? You finally got it to something. And I'm like, well, I want to change this, and I want to change that. And that reminded me, just in terms of systems, I mean, my personal journey is that it's like, I want to create this thing. I want to see how it goes. And really, and I'm going to go out and market it. I'm going to do it in all of the channels I knew how to do it in, which weren't online per se, right? And so I did it once, I did it twice. On the third time, I'm like, my process to attract is all wrong. Like I was like, oh, good gracious. And so that really was sobering. Once I had gone through enough iterations, I won't say they were betas. I was happy with it because I wanted to learn where the breakdowns were. And now I'm studying like, okay, and I'm executing and getting help, because I was like, okay, I'm wasting my time on things that take me way too long. I can do them. PowerPoints, However, I should be doing content and writing copy, and I should be investigating the virtual world in a way that is meaningful to me. That's part of that journey that I'm in right now. So I'm excited for 2021, but you guys have really made it crystal clear. I'm at least pointing my nose in the right direction in terms of where I need to tweak to have more success. So I was thinking, why do I have to be on the show today, Monica? It's the day after my birthday, and I'm so glad I'm here now. So, I mean, I was getting there because I knew Val was coming on, so I wanted to hear from Val. I know Leighann. So I was like, oh, I'll come. Maybe they won't ask me anything. So this is all the real backstory. I was like, I don't want to come on the show today. I want to sit and watch, but now I'm happy I'm here. And you guys have been awesome and gave me a lot of good notes. So I'm excited. So I'm so glad I forced myself to do it. Get uncomfortable.
Every week. People say this, like, oh, you're fine. Every single week, it's a force. It's forcing us out of our comfort zone to do this. But every time we do it, we're beaming afterwards. Like, oh my God, that was so much fun. Let's do it again. I can't wait till next week. And then an hour before the show, then it's like, oh, okay, are you sure we should do this? I don't know. Why are we still doing this? Right? It happens every time. So the last little section of our show, we really kind of want to share some share some knowledge and help people gain knowledge. And so we ask questions, and this is coming from Grace from Dallas, Texas. And it says, I'm a solopreneur and I am at the point where I want to grow my business and don't have any time to add more activities to my schedule. Help, what should I do? I think there's a lot of people who are feeling this right now. Yes, Andrea, you.
I want to go first because I'm not the expert. So Grace in Dallas, you said, right? I'm going to say you need to make a list. What are the things you're good at, like can do in your sleep? And what are the things that take you the most time? I am speaking from firsthand experience. This is why I'm sharing this. And that's why I wanted to go first, because then the experts can elucidate, make it all fluffy and all good and all that. So I'm going to put out the truth. Is that actually to maximize your time, to find time in your calendar. Again, you're going to get rid of or share the responsibilities with people who are more expert than you in doing some of those executables. And that was like a game changer, like just redesigning my brochure from my workbooks for my class, putting that on to somebody else and just checking in and picking them up for me to put the little zhuzh here and like the little bows. I felt so grown up the first week this happened. I was like, what was I thinking to wait this long to get a virtual assistant who could do this for me? And was like, do you need anything else? I was like, do I need anything else? Do you know what you did to my life? You gave me hours back. So that's the first thing, like, is really to sit there and say, I'm good at this. I need help here. Who can get me the best return on the time investment and the monetary? Because you're like, oh, it's going to cost me money. Then barter. You know what I mean? Barter with somebody until you can pay them, or trade services. There's always a will. When there's a will, there's a way. And women, if you're listening, we're always like hustling. Like, hey, if you do this for me, like, can you pick up my kid? Then I'll pick up your kid for you. Like, we do it all the time. Same thing can happen in your business. And I certainly know that becoming the MinkLife full, that'll happen to you too. So, I mean, we won't make you work right away, but later. Just to show you off or whatever. So that's the first thing. And I'm sure now the sage business women will elucidate further on what would make it better. So I can now be quiet, but I had to go first.
Oh my goodness, I'm glad you went first, Andrea, because I just say ditto. What you said is so right. It is so right. Look at what you're doing. Find the stuff that you don't like. You're talking about presentations. What you don't like, find someone to help you. And you'll find more time when you do that. So thank you for sharing. That was ditto.
Always truth telling here.
I was going to say pretty much the same thing. What I tend to do with my clients is sit with them and say, okay, what are your goals that you want to reach in the next 6 months? Where do you want to go? And then what's keeping you behind your computer? What's keeping you busy that you can't go and see those customers and grow your business? And then we sit and we work through those particular things and see where we can outsource things and free up some of their time. So yes, it's a very good place to start, is to create a list of all the things that are keeping you busy.
Yeah, I actually, so there's a feeling we all get, right? So a lot of people are listers. There's a lot of people who will write a mean to-do list, like they are. If there was like a contract of where you could just write to-do lists for a living, most entrepreneurs would be in like good money making those lists of things that they have to do. The harder part of it is always the execution, right? The getting it all done, right? And a lot of the productivity people will tell you, well, do the hard things first, right? When you have the energy, and then do the easier parts later. But in my experience, if you look at that list and there's things that are giving you anxiety, that's the area in which you need to talk to someone to help you, right? That feeling of, I have to do this. And true story. So my husband does not like doing cold calls, hates it with passion. And he keeps trying to build his business on cold calls, right? And he puts it on his list of things to do, and he does the time blocking. And I'm sorry, I'm putting all my husband's bad habits on. Sorry, baby, I love you. I will make up for it later. But he puts the time block on his calendar, and he's like, okay, and there's this new tool that'll help me cold call. And then when it comes down time to cold call, it never happens. And why does it never happen? Because he is not at all interested in the cold call. He does not want a cold call, nothing. If he could avoid the cold call at all costs, or like not have to do it, he wouldn't. And so the conversation that I had with him was, well, you know, you have a couple of people who've been sniffing around asking if you need assistance, or if you know, if you would mentor them, why not offload that on one of them? Right? So they can do the cold calls. You can still have it as a part of your business, but you are not the one who actually is doing the call part because you don't want to do it. Like, let's just be honest. We did not become entrepreneurs to do crap we didn't want to do. If that was the case, we would not work 80 hours a week, pour our hearts and souls into these businesses. We could have did 9 to 5. There are times in my entrepreneurial journey where I was like, how come I didn't just get a regular job? This would have been so much easier to make money, right? But we didn't get into these businesses to you know, to torture ourselves. And so having that feeling of, oh, I don't want to do this, that is probably the first indicator that needs to go off to someone else. But before it goes off to someone else, you have to first, like Val said, identify what the steps are that it takes for you to actually do that, document it, get it prepared for someone else to take off. And then you can hand it off to someone like a Leighann who's like, oh, no problem, I got you. And then you have all your time back, and then you're back in action, right? Then you can go back to, my husband can go back to being the international man of leisure like he wants to be, right? This is really kind of what we really want. I mean, none of us wanted to be boring old people. We wanted to be fun old people. And so I think this is the key. These two ladies right here, they have the key to success when it comes to being awesome old people. So that was my advice to you, Grace, is if you get that feeling on the inside, I don't want to do this, it belongs to someone else, make a list and hand it off. World of difference. I'm walking with a new bounce in my step because of it. So world of difference. All right. So the last part of our show is we always want to give our guests a opportunity to give their announcements. But before that, if any of you have questions about your personal life or your business or branding or networking, we are here to help. As you can see, we are open books and willing to help you kind of get the answers that you're looking for. And so with that, I want to give us an opportunity to do announcements. So what is happening in y'all's area? What's going on in your world? How can people who are watching this be connected to you and what you got going on? I'm going to start with Val. How can they be a part of Val's world?
Oh gosh, just connect with me. If you want to have a focus call with me, I can certainly help you build some strategy and get some clarity in your business. And you can just go. Mm-hmm.
You said there was 2 programs that you were building?
Yeah. I have my Focus and Freedom Method program, which is obviously the organizing and structure and coaching that business. And I also have Magnify Your Brand, which is clarifying your message, your brand, and your signature system so that you can attract the ideal clients into your life that you really want to work with. And so I have those 2 things going on. But yeah, go to my website. There's a contact page there. You want to connect with me, vallow.me, VALLOW.me.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Always concise. This one, always concise.
Right.
Okay, Leighann, what is happening in your world? How can people connect with you?
Well, anybody can connect with me via my website, which is LeighKhris, LeighKhris.co.za. You're more than welcome to connect with me and have a free coaching call with me to see how we can possibly assist them add more hours to their day.
Yes. Andrea, what's going on with you? Unmute.
Okay, so I am gearing up. I'm creating a new sneaky word, lead magnet, but it's also, I've been thinking about the holidays and people and their struggles around food and what to plan and making it healthy and making it fun. So I am going to be offering shortly, I'm making it. It's not done yet, but I just had the brilliant idea this morning. So I'm going to be doing like healthy, hormonally good for you menus for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so I would recommend, like Val says, to give me a call. I have a health and wealth clarity call that'll be in the comments below later, and you can always just call me and we can chit chat about your struggles in your health. But I'm creating this new little fun thing for people to eat their turkey with glee and abandon without guilt, this holiday season. So I'm excited for that. So I'm going to gift that to all of my past clients. So guess what? It's coming. Yay. So, a healthy menu for all of the women who went through my detox and rejuvenation cleanse, which is starting again in January, because I know none of you would dare do a cleanse during the holidays, though it is possible. I will be gently cleansing the whole holiday. I should probably blog about that. That would be kind of fun.
You should. Yeah. I definitely want to say, for those of you who heard healthy and all that in the cookbook, it does taste like gourmet food. You feel like you are being treated, not that you are being deprived. And there's too much food is usually what her menus include. Way too much food. You eat a lot with her. So I'm excited to be getting mine. My daughter is excited to be getting, she's like, she's doing the cookbook. Oh, yes. So I'm excited for that to come down the pike. That's amazing. Okay. And then in the MinkLife universe of it all, here's what you got going on. So the Business Maximizer will be starting very soon. So if you liked this conversation that we were having about the business processes, this is one of the 6 key factors to your business. We talk about leadership, we talk about business processes, we talk about customer recommendations, we talk about human resources, products and services, and your market blueprint in here. And what the idea is that you're going to create habits that support your personal and business growth. You're going to build a strong, authentic, mutually benefiting relationships. You're going to create strategies that support life and business optimization. And you're going to create a balanced and organized time management system. And last but not least, you're going to align your actions to your vision so that you can maximize resources. Those training systems are going to be coming out in the next week or so. So if you are interested in learning more about MinkLife Motivation and our training system, I encourage you to reach out to me, like this page, hit us in the comments and let us know. Also coming soon, Black by popular demand. Now, mind you, I did not think that this was going to be that popular, and yet it was so much fun. So they're asking me to do it and do it and do it again. So coming every Thursday, we're going to alternate every other week, morning versus evening, so we can hit all of the time zones for all of my international friends. We will be doing the Power Partner Mastermind Mixer. It is a good time, let me tell you. We will be meeting with other MinkLife motivators like Val and Leighann and all the other amazing people who are attached to MinkLife Motivation. You will learn how to grow your own business using the MinkLife Motivation training system, and you'll be able to give a commercial about what is happening in your own business and connect to other people who can help you do that. And last but not least, it is not too late. You can check Val's performance in the MinkLife sponsored next global virtual conference. The packages are always on sale, so you can go get a 7-day pass and see all 24 panel discussions, 24 breakout sessions, 6 workshops, 2 downloadable planners, and $10,000 worth of special offers and discounts. And when it asks you that little question on the questionnaire as you sign up, who sent you? Say Val, because she was here today and it was her show and we want to give her credit. So there you go. This has been so amazing, ladies, and I'm so happy that you're here. Next week, we will be right back here at the same place, same time, talking about your branding. And I want to give a special thanks to everybody who puts this show together on a weekly basis. It's not just me, it is a team. Alana Jackler, and thanks to my guests, Leighann and Val, and of course, Andrea, my road dog. Headshots by Peggy, the Brand Naked Agency. Remember, you have the power to activate the vision within. And sharing is caring. Please hit share, like, comment, tell people about it. Say, hey, you got to check out these amazing people over at MinkLife Motivation. Either way, sharing is caring. Join us in our Facebook group, Entrepreneurs Living Healthy, Wealthy, and Fulfilled. And we will see you very, very soon. I want to thank everybody, including you out there in Facebook world. We love you and we are excited, even though we dread it every hour right before the show starts. At the end, we are so happy we spent this time with you. We love you all. Thank you very much, everyone. Have an amazing week.